by a super sophomore class. The Georgia Gym Dogs have already won the Super 6 Challenge and defeated last year's national champs. Tonight, it's a classic battle on SEC TV. The roof over Coleman Coliseum is always in trouble when the tide is in. And the Georgia Gym Dogs come a calling. Number 1 Georgia visits number 6 Alabama. College gymnastics at its very, very best. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Drever, and we're glad you could join us here on SEC TV as we present the continuation of one of the most intensely competitive rivalries in all of college athletics, any sport. 89 times these two teams have met, and always, it seems, for a conference title or a national championship or just the right to brag about beating the best. Tonight should be no different. And bragging rights are especially important because later this season, Alabama will host the national championship in this building. So it's already one of the hottest tickets in town. Joining me as always, national champion and Olympian Lori Strong-Ballard. Lori, we've seen it before. It's always great, but it's always different. And once again, here in 2002, both teams are different. First, Alabama.
Well, for Alabama, over the last 3 years, they have been dominated by their underclassmen. Remember that Super 6 freshman class? Well, they're now seniors with just as much talent, but 10 times the experience. They are led by Andree Pickens. And yes, you can let out a big sigh of relief because she is back after tearing her Achilles tendon just days before the national championships last April. But keep in mind, an Achilles tendon takes about 9 to 12 months to fully recover. So they're going to bring her back slowly. She'll only do 3 events here tonight. And Sarah Patterson says no floor until at least mid-February.
Now, for Suzanne Yoklin in Georgia, she graduated 4 seniors. Normally, that would leave a coach's ranks thinned out pretty well, but Georgia's come out fighting already this year.
Georgia is so strong this year. And in the past, they also relied on a different makeup of their team. They relied on those sensational seniors who won Honda Awards like Kim Arnold and Karen Litchie. But this year, their strength is in their young but very talented sophomore group. And leading that class is Cory Fritzinger, the defending national vault champion and last year's SEC Freshman of the Year. And those successes have only added fuel to her fire. And Georgia has somewhat of a secret weapon this year in Kinsey Rowe. She tore her ACL before the season last year, but has come back without skipping a beat. In fact, she can and has beaten Cory Fritzinger in the all-around and can do so on any given night. And that type of competition within the team will only make the already hot Gym Dogs even stronger. In fact, I talked to both coaches earlier about the strengths of their team.
The strength of the team would definitely be their grit, their heart. I mean, even before we started competing, they wanted to prove me wrong. You know, they would get really upset when I'd say, you know, we don't have a lot of depth and, you know, we're not that strong on the uneven bars, and they love to prove me wrong. And so I'm going to keep saying those things because I like that they're proving me wrong. And definitely our strength is that. It's their grit and their fight and their fire, and they just love to compete.
I like our explosiveness. I think we're going to have you know, great skills, a level of difficulty that most people have not seen here at the University of Alabama. I think we'll rival some of the best teams in the country in that area. And then I think if we add the polish that the University of Alabama is so well noted for, and the crowd and the enthusiasm, I think it's going to be a great season.
Only a little time will tell. In fact, exactly the time that you'll spend with us here on SEC TV to know who's going to come out of here with the bragging rights and the win in this first conference matchup between two powerhouse gymnastic teams. Stay with us.
For the most up-to-the-minute.
Georgia fans have found a little corner of their own at Coleman Coliseum, and they are prepared for this intense rivalry. Both coaches talked about it.
Oh my gosh, if you could have been in the locker room before we came over here, you would know that this rivalry makes us better. We get so fired up. Our team just goes round and round telling stories of previous years, and it's funny how the stories change and grow, and they're just passed down from team to team, from athlete to athlete, and our team gets so fired up and so excited to come over here, not just because the competition is always good, but because of the fan support.
It's the beginning of a big season for us, and that will conclude with the hosting of the national championship. Second of all, it's our #1 rival. They're the #1 team in the country. When you get Alabama and Georgia together, it doesn't get any better than this, and certainly with their #1 ranking. I think that it's going to be an electric evening. think fans are going to have a great time, whether you're for the University of Georgia or the University of Alabama. It really doesn't matter. I think they're going to see exceptional gymnastics on both teams, and I think that they will really embrace this tonight.
Coach Sarah Patterson looking on. Preparations being made for Alabama to compete in the vault this first rotation. Let's go to the third member of our broadcast team. Jen Hildreth has more on young Kristin Sterner, who is rapidly becoming a star of this Bama squad.
Well, Lori talked about the talented group of seniors for Alabama, but there is at least one junior who you can't overlook. 7-time All-American Kristin Sterner. Now, don't be deceived. She's quiet, modest, doesn't demand the spotlight, but she definitely deserves it. With Andree Pickens recovering from that Achilles injury, Kristin has really stepped up, not only in the beam, where she earned first-team All-American last year, but as a strong, reliable, all-around competitor.
Alabama will start on vault, Georgia on uneven parallel bars, so the athletes are making their final warm-ups and preparations to go. And the first one we will see here will be Jeana Rice, Lauren and Aaron Holder, the identical twins for Alabama, and Reagan Tomczyk, an all-around competitor, and Andree Pickens will compete in the vault, one of the three that she will do tonight. Here's Jeana Rice.
And this is Jeana's first competitive experience of the year. It's a Yurchenko layout full, and a great one at that. She missed the first competition of the year because of a disciplinary suspension, and Alabama is grateful that she's back in the lineup tonight.
Jeana Rice, sophomore, with a 9.875. The congratulations of her teammates. Here's another look.
The Yurchenko layout full has been upgraded to a 10.0 start value. Everyone is pleased with that. It's a safer landing than the half front layout. You can see her see the ground, only a small hop.
For Georgia on bars, they'll start off with the rock, Talya Vexler, and end up with Cory Fritzinger, the freshman of the year in the SEC.
And this is a new role for Talya. She's always been the start-off performer on beam, but with Georgia graduating 3 of their top bar performers last year, she's really had to step it up on this event.
She's one of the few seniors on the squad, along with Eileen Diaz. Talya Vexler being looked to for leadership, and starting off on this first rotation for Georgia.
We saw the toe-on, toe-off on the low bar. She also does it on the high bar. Clean routine so far. Nice start off. Only a tiny step on the landing. You can really see her bending her legs, trying to absorb that power.
And the score for Talya Vexler, 9.775.
With the graduation of those 3 top bar performers, Georgia's missing a little bit of the difficulty in their dismount. This is just a double pike, but very clean, and a pretty good landing, just a tiny step.
Some of her teammates looking on in the background, and the Alabama team cheering for Kristin Sterner.
And a tough vault, the front pike with a half step on the landing. She looked like she rushed that block phase.
Sterner also competing in the all-round for Alabama. Starts out with a 9.725 in the single vault that the competitors are allowed. We saw that rule instituted last year.
Sarah Patterson says she has a great body type for college gymnastics. She's quick, she's compact and powerful, and that's what held this vault on its feet.
Kristin Sterner for Alabama, and Kinsey Rowe are welcoming this redshirt freshman back to the Georgia squad.
And already she's ranked 2nd in the country in the all-around.
She's competing in all 4 events here tonight, starting off on uneven parallel bars.
Sarah Takatchev, this is her eagle grip giant. There's a Keeley straddle back to handstand. Something that Georgia has been working on are their handstands. Said they're a little bit weak there. See her coming in short just slightly on some of these handstands. A watered-down dismount for Kinsey. She's been training the double layouts, and naturally she can do a full-in back out, but that's what she tore ACL last year.
So, with a 9.825 on uneven parallel bars, young Kinsey Rowe making her mark with the Georgia team here after a season off from injury.
This is a very strong routine, starting off with the uprise to handstand. There's a nice big release move here. It's called a Takatchev. That's a D-level skill to a D-level skill.
First rotation well underway between rivals Alabama and Georgia. Welcome back to Coleman Coliseum and the rivalry between Alabama and Georgia. You're watching Georgia on the uneven parallel bars, and Eileen Diaz, something of a specialist on this apparatus, goes next.
Absolutely. This is her best event. She is so tiny. She can swing the uneven parallel bars like it's the men's high bar. The giant pull to a Ginger.
Judges are watching those handstands a little closer this year.
Absolutely. They want to see them right on top in vertical or at least 10 degrees from handstand. Eileen was a little short on that last handstand, but she's got a big dismount here.
Oh.
Full twisting double layout. That's an E-level skill, and she just nails the landing.
Stuck it hard, and a 9.875 from the judges. Senior Eileen Diaz has made her contribution. She'll take a seat now and watch fellow senior Alabama's Andree Pickens compete in the vault. Andree updates us about her injury.
I think with the rehab we've done this summer and then this fall, my Achilles feels good. It feels strong. You know, pretty much back to normal.
Two-time SEC Athlete of the Year and very well respected. When she went down with that Achilles tendon before nationals, not only Alabama fans, but everyone was devastated. You hear the cheers. They are so pleased to have her back.
And you'll see more than a few of those little, yep, there's one, little 10 cards going up. These folks carry them, keep them, and every time Andree is competing, they're waving those cards looking for a 10 from the judges. 9.95, and that's pretty close. And it's certainly going to be the high score in this first rotation for either team. Andree Pickens providing the leadership as a senior that she has provided throughout her career here at Bama.
Sarah Patterson said one of their weaknesses this early in the season was their lack of 10-0 start value vaults. Andree can do 3 of them. Unfortunately, she can only vault 1.
Scores for the entire Alabama team punctuated by the 9.95 of Andree Pickens. Their team total 48.9. They're going to watch while Georgia finishes up on the uneven parallel bars with Cory Fritzinger, one of the favorites of Coach Suzanne Yochlin.
She is definitely the competitor. I mean, she looks at the opponent and she wants to beat them, and she looks at her teammates and she wants to be the best. And she certainly measures herself against the best athletes in the country, and they're right on our own team.
Certainly getting a push this year from Kinsey. Kinsey won the Super 6, but 2 days later, Cory won the competition against UCLA. She is definitely competitive.
Well, you mentioned that intensity among teammates is only going to make them better. So with Kinsey Rowe in the lineup, Cory Fritzinger already the star as a freshman, it only speaks well for Georgia.
Pretty strong routine going so far. Again, a little short on that handstand at the end. You can see that she was being aggressive. Into the dismount, mixed grip, double front, half out, and a tiny hop. She is so tough and aggressive.
Well, Fritz hits became a battle cry for the Georgia team last year, and it looks like once again with a 9.90, Cory Fritzinger demonstrating that she too is going to be a factor in this meet.
This dismount is so tough. She goes giant half into a mixed grip. And the dismount itself is an E-level skill. There's the mixed grip. She taps up into the air, 2 saltos forward, half out, sees the landing, and tries to get that stick.
The scores for Georgia, they were able to toss out a 9.70 by Marlene Stevens, while Bama had to count a couple of fairly low scores. So the net effect is that Georgia's going to lead by a couple tenths here as we finish rotation number 1. The intensity has not diminished. Stick around. They're going to switch after